Hello, everybody. Oh, perfect. There we go. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I see so many of you coming in. I see Angela from New Jersey, Gail from Los Angeles, Rashika from Virginia, SoCal. I see so many of you popping in. And apologies in advance. I have half a voice today. If we've met before, I don't usually sound like this, but I've had walking pneumonia all week long, which is so fun. Those of you with kids know this is just the best time of year. We get all the illnesses, so it's very exciting. But I'm so happy to meet some of you. Some of you I've met before. For those who are new here, my name is Katie. I'm a pastry chef, a professional pastry chef. I worked in restaurants in New York City for a long time and I owned a bakery in Brooklyn. I actually have a student here that I taught at culinary school. And so I'm so happy to see her here today. And I'm so happy to see all of you. We're making a really fun dessert today, which are little mini pumpkin cakes. Using a little mini pumpkin bundt cake pan from Michael's, which is so cute. If you don't have one of these, I definitely recommend it just because they're like adorable and you can do so many fun things with them. You might also have a version that's from Halloween that has little pumpkin faces on it. You could use that for this as well. And I actually used that for the batch that I tested a couple of weeks back. So it works great too. But we're working with really simple ingredients today. We're going to make the bundt cakes from scratch. It's a very nice, lightly spiced pumpkin cake. We'll talk about ways you can kind of amp up the flavor as you like. You could always add like a little bourbon. You can add extra spice. You can add anything you like. We're going to do a cream cheese buttercream to coat it with. We're going to do a couple different colors. Like we'll do just like a very, it's demure. It's sophisticated. We're going to do some like really good, like an orange that has like a little bit of brown in it. We'll do some, maybe like a yellow pumpkin, a white pumpkin. We'll keep it really classy. It'll be nice. So it should be a lot of fun today. If you are baking along, feel free to, get into the chat. Let me know where you're at. I do have some pumpkin cakes that I pre-made that we're going to frost. So we will do the entire thing here today in class. But if you are watching this back on YouTube or anything like that, feel free to pause along the way, and get sorted and bake along with me. And that'd be awesome as well. But please, questions in the chat would be great. And thank you so much. We're going to come down. I'm going to show you what I'm working with. So in terms of the pumpkin cake, and you have the recipe linked in the class description. So if you're missing that, let us know. But I think she just posted it there. There we go. We've got all-purpose flour. I've got canned pumpkin, and it's a very small amount of canned pumpkin, to be quite honest with you. It's only about 1/3 of a cup. You can bump up this recipe as much as you like. You could double it, triple it. Or you could just make a little bit like I'm doing today and use the rest for your pumpkin pie, or anything else. It's a great use for leftover pumpkin as well. I've got kosher salt to kind of enhance the flavors. Pumpkin pie spice, I actually made my own from scratch. We'll talk about that. I prefer to do that so it's nice and fresh. I've got baking soda and baking powder to leaven it, some whole milk, or you can use buttermilk, which is really lovely for this cake. It's going to add that extra little bit of tang and tenderness. That would be so nice. There's also a couple of tablespoons of water in this recipe. I added that into my milk already. I've got brown sugar. This is dark brown sugar. You can also use light brown sugar, but I love like that little extra hit of molasses that you get from the dark brown is so nice with pumpkin. So I definitely recommend that. Vegetable oil or any neutral oil that you have, and 1 egg. And that's it. So we're going to get started. We're just going to jump right in and make our pumpkin cake. And it's a 1-bowl recipe, easy as can be. You don't need any mixer or anything to do this except a whisk and a bowl, which keeps it so simple. And of course, your pumpkin molds, which is so nice. And so I'm going to start by just getting all my wet stuff in. I'm going to get my pumpkin, my oil, my milk, my water, my egg. This is like a 1, 2, 3 dump and stir situation. Is anybody else sick right now? Can you use almond milk? Absolutely, you definitely can. And brown sugar, funny enough, I count that as part of my liquid because of course sugar sort of dissolves in liquid. So go ahead and get that in also. And we're just going to give this a whisk until it's nice and smooth. And yeah, you could definitely use almond milk. You can even, if you're trying to go vegan, let's say, you can kind of play with swapping out the egg for a little bit more pumpkin. Might work nicely, or some applesauce. All right, and as soon as it's smooth, we can add the rest. So in the recipe, I actually called for a teaspoon of kosher salt. When I tested it back, I felt like that was it was just like a touch aggressive. So I would even bring that down to 3/4 of a teaspoon is plenty, but there's nothing wrong with the full amount. If you go with the full amount, that's fine too. And for pumpkin pie spice, the reason I like to make my own is I just can't get through that much pumpkin spice in one season. You'll notice that like spices, as they sit in your cabinet, they're going to lose that potency. They're not going to be as fresh, not as vibrant. So instead of buying, a little container of pumpkin pie spice every year, like a 3-ounce that I have to work my way through, I just do a 3-2-1. I do 3 parts cinnamon, 2 parts ground ginger, and 1 part ground nutmeg. And I just sort of like mix those together. You see they're all in here. And that way I have fresh spices. I use those spices for other things. You can adjust that if you're not a big nutmeg fan. You can kind of bring that amount down. You can add something like clove in its place. You can have a lot of fun with it. So to me, that just keeps it nice and fresh. But if you do have pumpkin pie spice, you can definitely use that as well. Oh no, the coughing's begun. Oh, there we go. And you see how quick and easy this batter is. That's it. Don't overwork it. You don't want rubbery cakes. Just keep it really nice and tender. And all we're going to do is scoop it into our molds. And the beauty of a silicone mold like this is it's super nonstick. It's really easy to get everything out. But just as a little insurance policy, just a little bit of cooking spray, just to make sure. Very lightly. And now just to make sure I'm even, I'm going to use my portion scoop. You'll notice in the recipe, this does make 4 cakes. And we are using the top and bottom to make each cake. So this is going to make 3. So we are going to bake 1 batch, take it out of the oven, and do 2 more to make that 4. So if you are doing this at home, that's what we're doing. But we're filling them about 2/3 of the way full, which comes out to like a nice generous scoop. This is like my 1-ounce scoop that I'm using. This is going to puff up nicely. We don't want them to be too full, but you can trim them if they're just like a little bit higher than you want them to be. That's fine. Oh no. I'm so sorry if I coughed through class. This is not, I was like, oh, come on, I'll have some tea before. It'll be great. And now here we are. All right. So my oven is preheated to 375. We're going to bake these just until they sort of spring back to the touch, or you can use a toothpick to kind of insert in the center and make sure they're baked all the way through. It takes about, I would say check them at about 18 minutes or so, but about 20 to 25 minutes total. And I'm going to show you the ones that I already have. Now I baked these earlier. Here, little pumpkins. You can see they're super cute. Little pumpkin guys. And I did trim some of these. So you can see I just sort of trimmed off the bottom a little bit if it rose too high. And I popped them in the freezer. They're nice and firm to the touch. This is going to make them really easy to decorate. If you're trying to decorate really fresh cakes, you're going to have a little bit of a rougher time doing it. So make sure they're really nice and cool and chill them as much as you can before you get started. And before we start decorating, we are going to make the cream cheese frosting. So I'm going to leave these in the freezer until I'm ready. Oh my goodness. Wowza. Yeah. My goodness, guys. All right, let's push this over. So cream cheese frosting, probably one of my favorite frostings. You can mix this up as much as you want. You can use a caramel buttercream. You could use maybe like a chai spice. Really anything fun that you love. You can get as creative as you want. But I feel like cream cheese and pumpkin is just a classic combination. So unsalted butter. So make sure this is really nice and soft. It's cold right now, right? I'm here in New Jersey. I think Angela was from New Jersey too. It's cold today. So even though this has been sitting at room temperature for at least a few hours now, it's still on the firmer side. So if that's the case, I like to just start with my butter first before I get my cream cheese in. Cream cheese has a little bit more moisture. So I don't want to end up with any like little knobs of butter that I can't get out. So I'm just going to go ahead and cream that a little bit first, just in case. Just give it like a little bit of a beat up. And actually, if you want, you can even switch cameras for me if you want and come over to the side. All right, I'm just going to mix it just until the butter kind of beats up a little bit. And then we'll slowly get in our cream cheese. That's pretty good. That's just going to help me make sure I'm not going to end up with any lumps. Cream cheese, 1 pack of cream cheese, 8 ounces, and this is softened also. Ay, ay, ay. Wowza. And while that beats up, I'm going to get a cough drop. Hold on. There we go. So I'm not coughing at you guys all the way through class. All right. All right, so as soon as this is nice and smooth, it's looking pretty good. You always want to go ahead and scrape down. You'll notice I've got some cream cheese in my mixer. Oh my goodness. Wow. Gloria, what is happening over here? I was so good until we started. Hopefully this cough drop will kick in. I pray you feel better. Thank you so much. I know. It's deep in there. It's deep in my chest. There we go. Pneumonia is no joke, guys. All right, so confectioner's sugar. So it says 4 to 4.5 cups. We're going to start with most of it. I would say about half at a time is plenty, just to get it to mix in. Nice and slow. We don't want a big cloud everywhere. Perfect. And as soon as that's absorbed, you go ahead and get the rest in, along with, I've got kosher salt. Just a pinch of that. And my favorite thing in the world, which is the Nielsen Massey vanilla bean paste, which I'm so excited I get to open a new one today. It's like very fresh. If you don't know vanilla bean paste, it's just lovely. It adds like little specks of vanilla bean throughout, which are so lovely. And it just gives you that really nice vanilla flavor. Mix it in, and then I'll add the rest of my confectioner sugar. Nice and easy. And this does make a good amount of frosting. Remember, we're frosting the inside and also all around the pumpkins. And it is a good layer of frosting on the outside, so this makes just enough. All right, and I'm going to grab some fun stuff while that's getting ready. So I've got some piping bags here. You can also use fabric piping bags if you like. I'm going to scoot that over, and I'm just going to whip it up just until it's light and fluffy. Wow. Jeez Louise. We're looking pretty good. I'll show you what it looks like. It's pretty smooth. We could keep going. We could get a fluffier texture a little bit here. But for now, we're looking pretty good. I'm going to steal some of it just to start coating our pumpkins. And maybe we'll let it beat up just a little bit more. So we are doing multiple colors today. So I am using the gel colors. I've got Satin Ice. I've got green. I've got brown, orange, and yellow. And that's just going to give me the variety that I want. And I also have some tips. I've got like a little star tip. You guys can see that. It's a nice small star tip. You could go with a bigger tip if you like, a star, just a regular round would be fine, any design that you like. And I also have a leaf tip, just to make some little leaves when we get there. And let's see, and I don't need a little round, but you could use a little round tip for this also. But first, I'm just going to steal some of the white just to fill my pumpkins. You could also fill them with whatever color you want your pumpkin to be. That would be fine too. But for filling, I don't really need a tip. I'm just going to go straight with the bag and use your drinking glass. Fold down the top of your bag. And I'm just going to fill it right up. Not too much. Just a little bit. Let's grab those pumpkins. And then after we fill in their symbol, we'll give them a minute to set while we make our colors. Let's grab those guys. Thank goodness for Ricola. I feel so much better right now. This is so good. Ricola. Like a Ricola commercial. All right. So depending on what you want to put these on, sometimes you can get those really cute little like metallic or white little cake boards. You could do that. I have like little plates here that are pretty cute. I'm going to do each one on a plate. And these cinnamon sticks are going to be my stems later. So I'm just going to put those aside. And each pumpkin as I go, I'm just going to build it on a plate. So it's easy for me to prop on my turntable. You've obviously seen the Ricola commercial. Yes, I have a few times. Ricola. You remember back in the day, I feel like they had somebody like on a mountain. I love that commercial. It's a good one. All right, so I just cut a hole in my bag. I keep this pretty simple, but we are going to sort of glue the pumpkin. So a little bit of frosting right on my plate, just as glue. Choose any bottom or top that you like. It doesn't really matter. And I just put it cut side up. So it's stuck to my plate right in the middle. A little bit of frosting. Just to cover it up. And then pop your top right on. Make sure your ridges are sort of lined up on the side. Not that you're really going to see them, but just for funsies. You can see he's super cute. And if there's like a lot of gaps around the side, you could take a little extra frosting and fill that in too. We are going to do like a quick crumb coat. But for now, that's what we're going to start with. And having the pumpkin really nice and cold is such a game changer. Hi, Linda from Kansas. Welcome. You could just like move them around. You could play with them. They're not going anywhere. I'm just taking it. I'm just doing just a little swirl. You could also just do that with a spoon. And funny enough, last year for Thanksgiving, I have a 4-year-old. My sister has a 4-year-old. And we actually let them decorate little cakes last year, and this was one of them. And they're just so fun and cute. Even though today we're going to make like really cute little fancy guys, kids can really have fun with these too. Very kid friendly. All right, so let's start with 3. I think 3 is plenty. We'll do one of each color. And now just to give it a little bit of a coat, because of course, even though we're piping lines on the side, you don't want any gaps where you're going to see cake coming through. So we're just going to do a quick crumb coat. So get something like a little offset spatula or a spoon, whatever you like. And I'm just going to take some of the frosting and just kind of coat my little ridges first, just to kind of cover them up. And then just a little bit of frosting all over. And I'm going to take my offset and just give it like a little bit of a coating. Let's get our turntable. Oh, and these are super tiny. If it helps, you can kind of like put a skewer in the center just to help hold it in place. Whatever works for you. Just give it a little bit of a coat. Little tiny pumpkins. What are you guys doing? Is anybody baking along? Does anybody want to make these for Thanksgiving? Does anyone else have pneumonia today? Is it just me? The diseases today are like really, wow. I don't know. Were there always so many diseases? My daughter comes home with like croup. She was barking like a seal for a while. There's always, I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. All right. So we're pre-coated. We're not perfectionists today. We're just giving it a light coat. And you'll see, because the pumpkin is so cold, this is like already setting, which is nice. All right, so we'll do that for the rest of them. But in the meantime, let's start making some colors. So the key from it, you are, oh, fabulous. Oh, Kimberly's going to make it. You're making 13. Geez Louise. Are they each going to be a different color? That's so fun. My goodness. All right, so what I like a sort of like muted tone. You can make these as bright and fun as you want. You could do like teal is really pretty also. You could like really, get as creative as you feel. You could even do like a maroon one would be pretty for Thanksgiving. Anything you want. But I'm going to keep it to like some simple colors. We'll do like a yellow pumpkin, an orange pumpkin. Maybe we'll do one white pumpkin, so I'll leave some white. And we are going to need green, but not too much green. I would say, even like a half cup or so for your green is plenty. Don't waste it. Make this yellow, we'll make this orange. We'll leave all this white. All right, and that should be pretty good. So to get those muted colors, if I just go straight with my food coloring, depending on what food coloring you have, and gel is great because it's going to give you the most vibrant color without thinning the frosting. If you could pipe, you could pipe their name on your initials. Oh, that's so cute. That would be so cute. But what I like is just adding like a touch of brown also to every color that I'm using. So if I'm using yellow, I'm just going to add just a hint of brown, just to kind of like tone down the brightness of the color a little bit and just give it like some of that Thanksgiving-y vibe. Add a little bit to this one, a little bit to that one. And the same goes with the green when you get to the green. Adding a little bit of brown to your green can really just sort of like take that color in a very nice direction. I'm just going to give this a stir. I'm going to have to add a little bit more yellow. I like these silicone bowls. I got these from Michael's the other day because we were doing a class like where I needed the microwave, and I was like, oh, I don't need little silicone bowls. And they're so fun. They're good for like a lot of different purposes. All right. It's looking pretty. I don't know how you can tell on here, but right now I've got like almost like a peachy tone. Just kind of nice. I'm going to go a little bit more yellow. And for the next one, I'm going to do the same with my orange. This is pretty. This is almost like it's like a golden tone. Kind of light. That's nice. It's pretty. I like that. You can see like how that brown really makes a difference. All right, so that's our yellow. Let's do some orange. We had a mini pie class last week also that was really cute. So if you're into like the mini desserts, you have like a whole table going. Mini cakes, mini pies. All right, this is pretty nice. Kind of like a pastel-y orange going on. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It's nice. It's muted. It's demure. All right, my green. Let's add just a touch of the brown to our green. Edible glitter would be pretty. Oh yeah. I feel like I put edible glitter on like everything nowadays. Just like, a little glitter. Especially macaroons. If I'm making macaroons, I'm probably putting glitter on them. See, I want a little bit more brown. So let's do a little more brown. Mm-hmm. A little bit more pumpkin-y. Okay. And you can see the frosting is on the nice thick side. If for any reason you go to do this and your frosting is like a little, maybe it's a warmer day than what we're having, and maybe, you know, the butter and the cream cheese were a little bit warmer. If you find it's a little bit on the looser side, just pop it in the fridge before you start. And that's really going to help it hold its shape nicely. All right. So what we're going to do is pop our star tips into bags and load them up. So to do that, just to show you again, I'm going to fold down the top of my bag just to keep the edge nice and clean. Pop it into a drinking glass with my tip. And when I put the tip in, I'm only going to trim just below the start of the tip because we don't want it to pop out. We want it to hold really nicely. Take your scissor. We'll just start there. Just until it clears. So you can see it's like right below the start, which is a good place for it to be. I don't use a coupler because I'm doing a separate bag here, and I'm only using one tip for each color. If I wanted to switch up and do like round and star, you can absolutely use one if you want to. But I am not today. I'm not using a coupler. All right, so my orange going in. Yeah, it'd be fun to do this with like little turkey molds also, make like little turkeys. That'd be super cute. Thanks, Jennifer. All right, and just give it a push. Right now, I always stuff, and this is a force of habit, but I always stuff my bag into the tip so that nothing comes out. Obviously, if your frosting is as thick as this, nothing is coming out anyway, but it's a good rule of thumb when you're doing, you know, macaroon batters or any sort of batter, just to stuff your tip with your bag, just to keep it all in place until you're ready. Just a good rule of thumb. All right, yellow going in. I'm really into this yellow. This is like a I feel like it's hard to tell on camera, but in person it's very gold. It's like a very luxe kind of gold color. Nice. All right. Now remember, we're going to do one white. So let's load up some white. And then we'll load up our green. We need 2 bags of green, one for the little vines that we're going to do, and one for the leaves. For vines, I'm not going to need much, so I'm just going to take a little bit. I'm not doing any tip. You can do a very small round tip if you like. That would be fine. And if you don't have a leaf tip, you can actually just trim your bag the same way this tip is shaped. You see it's just a V shape. You could just go ahead and trim your bag just like this to a V shape. And the frosting is thick enough that you don't even really need the leaf tip if you don't want to use one or if you don't have one. Although it is good to have. It's a good investment. All right, a little green. All right, now white, and we are ready. Oh, I'm one bag short. Oh. There we go. Actually, I'll fill the way and then I'm going to show you guys the pumpkins are already ready. come out of the oven. So I'll show you what they look like. I think just in the spirit of time saving, we aren't going to crumb coat the other two. I'm just going to roll with it. That way you guys don't have to wait while I crumb coat. It's for family anyway. They're not judgy. All right, so let me show you these cakes. Ready to pull these out. Check my cutting board a little bit here. So you can see they're out of the oven. And all I like the spring back test. The spring back test is you just take your finger and you give it a little bit of a poke, and the cake should spring back to the touch. They should feel firm. They shouldn't leave an indent behind. So if your cakes are springing back, you're good to go. If you are in doubt, a little toothpick right in the middle. But remember, this is hot, but the beauty of silicone is it's not very hot. So you could just go ahead and pop them right out of the mold. I also have like Teflon fingers from years of baking. There we go. And they just pop right out. So I would do 2 more of these to make the 4 that's going to finish up all your batter. And of course, you want to let these cool. You'll notice they mound like just a little bit on the bottom. You see like that little bit of a mound. So that's where after they cool completely, you can just go ahead and just trim them flat. And they'll be good to go. So I'll set these aside and we'll go back to our regular pumpkins. Our chilled pumpkins. All right. So I do have a turntable. If you have a turntable, this is a very good way to use it, is with these guys. But if you don't have a turntable, that's fine too. But it does make it very easy to just give it a spin. And all we're going to do, maybe we'll start with our, what color? Any votes? Let's start with orange. So depending on how comfortable you are and how big your bag is filled, sometimes I like to just pinch it halfway down so I get a little bit more pressure. So if I'm a righty, I'm going to pinch with my right in the middle, hold the back with my left, and then I'm ready to pipe. So you can go down to up, you can go up to down, depending on what you like. I kind of like to hold it in my hand and just go up to down. So I'm just going to start and take my little star tip and go all the way down my pumpkin, all the way to the bottom, and just make a line. And if you want, Corey, you might be able to come to the side camera, it might even be easier to see. What kind of turntable do I use? This is, let's see, this one's very old. Good Lord, I have no idea what brand this is. I've had this for about 1,000,000 years. But any turntable is great. I like this one because it's just, this is like a workhorse. Now, instead of doing line after line, I do like to kind of divvy it up a little bit. So we're just going to do corners first. We'll do our 4 corners. Then I'm going to get nice even lines. All right, just like that. Almost like we're making hot cross buns. And just keep going down the side. And this will help because you notice if you're doing them one next to the other, all of a sudden you're going to start sort of going in weird directions. This kind of helps you keep everything in place. And this is when I'm going to start coming in and just covering all of my sections. And I like the star tip for this just because it adds that texture, but again, you can have fun with this. You could use just a regular round tip. We'll do one where we do sort of like zigzags from side to side. That can be fun too. Just filling it up. This is very ASMR. Just piping frosting. All right, so we have a cute little pumpkin. Now, if you want, you can also add a few more lines just to give it like a little bit more definition. You could do that. And this is a good amount of frosting on this cake. So like if you are crumb coating before, try to keep it as light as possible. So everyone's not eating like a ton of frosting on such a tiny cake. But where you really get to have fun is adding some of these vines and things. So if you are using a small round tip, you don't have to do this part, but if you are cutting your tip just as small as possible on your hole, the smaller, the more delicate, the better. And here you can just kind of come in and actually, no, we'll do that after. We'll put the stem after. Just kind of let it swirly as much as you want down the side, just to make like little vines. It breaks, so it's okay. We'll cover it with a leaf. Don't worry. We take our little leaf tip, and before we add our leaves, we do want to add the stem. So a little cinnamon stick makes a great stem. You could also use fondant, molding chocolate, anything you want, just stuff it right in the middle. And remember, these cakes are very cold, so I'm putting a good amount of pressure. And now for my leaf tip, and just test it first. It's going to make a cute little leaf. I had a spot before where I broke it. Let's see, here we go. Add a couple by the stem. And a couple going around. And that's it. It's like a super cute little pumpkin. Michael's just texted 40% off all regular price items with coupon code. Yes. Perfect time for Thanksgiving stuff. So we're going to do the same thing just with a different color. And maybe we'll try out our little zigzag. So if you don't want to do the lines, and you'll notice I did not crumb coat this, so we are probably going to see some gaps through. But it's a good experiment for like, how many gaps do we see? But instead of doing lines, I'm going to just sort of like zigzag it all the way down. Just like that. I'm going to do that next to it. This will be kind of fun. This is also a little bit easier for kids. They don't have to make so many lines. Not that they'll be this neat, but you never know. And this coats it really nicely. I don't even need a crumb coat for this. You guys are totally right about the luster. I feel like a little luster dust on this would like really make it. Give it that like gold vibe. So cute, right? They're so cute. I love little cakes. So much better than a big giant cake. Everybody gets their own. So cute. That coated really nice. Same thing, we'll do our vines. And when we're doing our vines, you'll notice I'm sort of like lifting it off and letting it fall. So just like going down as much as you want, going to the side a little bit. It's like the sweater knit style. Yeah, totally. For sure. We're so trendy. All right, pop in my guy here. You could also core these out if you want before you frost them and fill them with like Thanksgiving sprinkles. Do like a little piñata style where they cut in and they get like all the sprinkles on the inside. Be so fun. Or you could do like a caramel filling. Leaves. So cute. I like him. He might be my favorite. Super fun. But so you could just do like a variety of colors. I'm going to do a white one too. But that's pretty much it. So you guys can hang with me and watch me do one more if you want. But if anybody's heading out, thank you so much for joining me here today. I am going to keep going. But please make them. This will be on YouTube and the recipe is there too. So you can definitely make these. I wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. Again, I'm going to do my 4 corners first, just to keep it organized. Remember, we do have a lot of good holiday classes coming up. Next week, we're doing pumpkin spice bombs, which are so fun, and a great food gift item. And in December, there's a really good holiday macaroon class that I'm so excited about. Also, a gingerbread house workshop. And a couple other fun things. This is very relaxing. I could just do this. Wow, Ricola, man. I haven't coughed once. Look how cute is that? All my different shades. They're so fun. So fun. Did you use pumpkin mix? I missed that part. No, we made this from scratch. Just a 1 bowl of very super quick pumpkin cake. It was incredibly fast. Probably took like 2 minutes to make that batter. And we baked it in this cute pumpkin silicone mold from Michael's, which is so cute. And on sale right now. So definitely get one of those. But that's it, guys. So you could play with these in a variety of colors. You could do red, you could do brown, you could do yellow, orange, different shades of orange, dark, light, whatever you like. And they're so delicious. Let me at least show you the inside. So this is the homemade pumpkin cake. And the cream cheese frosting is on the outside. Oh, but it's like very nice and tender. We've got the white filling, so it's almost like a cute little cake all on its own. Lightly spiced, but you can up that spice as much as you want. You could add a splash of bourbon inside. You could add more vanilla. You could add anything you want. Yeah, the Nordic Ware mini pumpkin bun pan is super cute too. I do love the silicone because it's just so easy. Yes, and the cake recipe is linked in the class description. But I think Coria shared it here as well. If you scroll up to the chat, maybe she could share it again. That would be awesome. But thank you so much, guys. Yeah, dried fruit or nuts. That would be interesting, actually. I would say even like a little candied ginger, like little candied ginger running through would be really lovely. The other ingredients would not change. It would just be a mix-in. So you could fold in like pecan pieces. You could fold in dried ginger. Anything you want would be really lovely. For sure. White chocolate chips, dark chocolate chips. You could have fun. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. I hope I feel better too. Thank you so much for coming. It was so nice to see you guys. Hopefully I won't have pneumonia anymore. Hopefully this is the end. But thank you guys so much. Have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving. See you for more classes. Thank you so much.